You're watching Saki Chronicles.
Do you remember when Destiny first came out back in 2014 and Peter Dinklage was the voice of Ghost because he was the hottest thing on HBO at the time?
Yeah.
Right, they replaced him in The Taken King with Peter North. All his lines and everything. You can even watch side-by-side comparisons.
Your point, Don?
My point is, Capcom should just do that instead, and I don't get why they don't.
I'm not getting into this with you.
I'm here, guys. We ready?
Yeah, I am. Let's get this done.
Agreed. So we've all had a chance to play separate ways. And just as promised when we last talked about Ada Wong, we're back to reevaluate her. And also to rank a couple new characters that popped up as well.
Question, are we doing this for Luis too?
Are you kidding me? Maybe to raise him up a bit because he's so fucking charming. His intro into this DLC not only grabs your attention, but encapsulates his personality so well.
Not only that, but they crank his altruism up to 11.
No cap. This king was willing to run into an inferno to just get medicine to help Leon and Ashley.
No, no, no! We can't let the medicine be destroyed!
Luis, let it go! Luis!
That aside, I will admit that I find it a little silly that he can just whip up the medicine by finding a couple household items and a bug.
Not to mention that throughout Leon's entire campaign, Luis hadn't dropped a damn thing, unlike his counterpart in the OG. Yet Capcom found a way to make this mad lad drop a key.
Where's the key? Shit! I must have dropped it.
So we were this close.
All right, guys. I'm glad that they didn't find a way to fuck up Luis in the DLC, and that he's still peak. But we're not here for him. Even though he's still a badass, and even cures Ada from her infection, there's really not much more we can say about him. He's a great man that has a great burden he's trying to fix.
Why is this so important to you?
There are things I must set right.
Okay, you've made your point. We're here for the newer characters, so let's get to them. Who's first?
Well, that would be Pesanta, of course. And damn, was this beast dope to fight against. Different phases at different moments of the game, separate move sets than that of Verdugo. Plus, we get to see what this thing is capable of, rather than just throw off its cloak and go into its final form immediately. It's a slow burn that I think works out really well.
Agreed. The first fight was a nice introduction for this thing. Showing how it infects people and the effects of it while fighting was a nice touch. Especially in the village, where the colors feel almost soothing.
I thought your old ass could only see in black and white, Joe. However, I will admit he's right in a way. The first fights were good. Its use of multiple images of itself in order to play a which one is the real one game was a nice touch, although it's nothing we haven't seen before, even in this franchise.
True, this is really just a revamp of the Jack Norman fight in Revelations.
Keep your head in the game. There's only one of them.
Precisely. Also, that this fucker was the only thing to actually make Ada show some fucking emotion too.
That's it. Come on now.
We'll get into it, Don, don't worry. But first, let's talk about the real exciting part. When Pesanta actually throws off the robe like a Z fighter and shows its true self.
Oh man, I was so ready for the U3 fight. And I gotta say that Capcom did a good job with this boss. I mean, we all knew that Salazar's black robe was probably going to be it, so actually seeing it play out was dope. And thank God they took away all those crates to run around in. Fuckers made no sense at all.
It's no longer a monotonous fight either. This bitch has multiple ways to kill you, and you gotta be on your toes for each of them. It still does the normal shit like swipe and tunneling that you have to dodge. But now it spits shit and grabs you too. It's like walking through a Democratic convention.
Didn't I hear that you like the spitting flop top?
Spitting real facts, you old fuck.
Back to it, guys. Seeing you three utilized correctly really helped keep the immersion of this game. However, I'm not too sure I liked that it had 3 phases instead of just stopping at 2.
You're kidding, right? I thought that shit was awesome. Having the actual parasite dragging Pesanta's ass around like a rag doll just so it can get to stomping Ada was almost chilling.
Not exactly what I expected.
True, but I see where Barry is coming with this one because it then just becomes a boss that tunnels with an exposed weak spot that stands there while you shoot it.
At least it calls ads, and does the Centipede boss much better than Zero did, that's for sure.
Agreed.
Okay, we've talked enough about it, so let's rank the fucker and move on.
Well, it's a multi-phased boss that shows up in numerous encounters, and although it was the only constant enemy in Ada's campaign, story-wise it was very well done. numerous fighting techniques, and great backstory to explain how it became what it was. That being said, I'm down for A tier, no problem.
I can agree to that. It was great to see it in a more modern style and was still tough to fight. I'm good with A.
Done. Any remarks before we move on?
Yeah, I got one. So we know that this thing was fighting Ada well before Leon even entered the picture, and it follows her to the village to fight after the bell rings, but then retreats back to the castle to what? Just chill for a bit? So while Ada's still doing her sneaky spy shit, the one creature that can track her and possibly kill her if it just derobed and did its fucking job just fucks off for a few hours?
It obviously needed to lick its wounds. Maybe put a couple band-aids on. I will say that I wanted a small scene where Ada overhears Salazar sending out Verdugo to go hunt and kill Leon. Just a small 15-second scene would have made things a tiny bit more clear, but oh well.
All right, so next would be the reimagining of the boy himself, Albert Wesker. And guys, I gotta be real honest, I don't fucking like it.
Interesting.
No fucking shit. This guy is not my Wesker. I was honestly hoping that he would have had some kind of improvement or anything other than a flatboard who's just angry all the damn time. Almost everything out of this guy's mouth is just how disappointed in Ada he is.
Stop wasting my time, Ada. I've absolutely no use for your incompetence.
Easy with the threats, Wesker.
Just get it done.
You continue to disappoint me.
And remember, I do not like...
Waiting, I know.
The entirety of Wesker's script must have been that he was a disappointed dad to a teenage daughter going through a phase.
Oh, Ada. What to do with you?
Let's back up a bit and get the obvious out of the way first. His voice is so grainy and off that it's almost as if the actor is forcing himself to sound evil and mysterious, like it's such an effort for him.
The president's daughter. Undoubtedly.
Wesker in the previous mode seemed so calm and confident in his abilities, and the actors portraying that did amazing.
Even in the OG?
You guys are idiots.
You know what I'm saying. Even in 4's OG game, Wesker never got mad or even slightly upset at Ada when plans would change.
Did you retrieve the sample?
No. Sadler has it.
There will be another time.
He rolled with it easily. In fact, he initially told Ada to kill Leon just because he was a survivor of Raccoon City.
And that U.S. government lapdog, Leon. If you do happen to encounter him, put him out of commission. We can't let him interfere with our plans.
He's nothing we need to worry about.
He's a survivor of Raccoon City. We can do without the extra distraction. Take him out.
But then rescinded his order when he sees that keeping him alive to continue his distraction with Sadler is beneficial to her mission.
Have you had a chance to eliminate Leon?
Not yet.
If that's the case, then maybe we can capitalize on his little lucky streak. Take advantage of the distraction he is causing for Sadler and his followers to retrieve the sample.
He does the same in the remake.
As long as you can keep your dog under control.
The point he's making is that OG Wesker was flexible with the mission, as long as it got done. He was confident in Ada 100%. He didn't need to come over and loom over her shoulder like a micromanaging office boss.
If you could just go ahead and make sure you do that from now on, that would be great.
Well, thank God he did, because he shows up just in time to save her.
Are you staying? To back me up?
I'm not here to babysit you.
Yeah, about that. First off, Capcom couldn't spare just a few seconds to show us Wesker absolutely demolishing some Ganado ass.
Hey, phrasing!
That's literally all we wanted. Christ, the only action we get to see from him is through mercenaries?
Donny, you idiot, that's the exact same as in the OG. Nothing different there.
He's right there, Don. But what I would like to know is, if Wesker was just going to pop in from his yacht anyways, and more than once, then why not just grab the amber himself? What was the point in having Wesker just keep making trips back and forth from his boat?
At least in the OG, it was assumed he was talking via satellite.
Okay, Dumb and Dumber, you've made your points. But this Wesker shows that he's not leaving anything up to chance or dumb luck. He wants shit done, so he's not going to fuck around with insubordination from people he's hired to do a job.
Sure he does. At the end, he just lets her get away for no fucking reason, just so he can spin around in his comfy office chair to talk about a possible RE5 remake.
Her little act of defiance changes nothing. Besides, we have all we need.
Fucking balls.
Checkmate, you old bitch.
Fuck you both. The fact of the matter is that the Wesker we love wasn't ranked in separate ways either. We ranked his performance highly from both Veronica and 5. And since new Wesker isn't in either one, it is unfair to use those two platforms against him in this.
God damn, he's right.
Shit.
Fair is fair, Barry.
I guess we'll just need to see how new Wesker is in 5.
Damn straight.
Soon, the sun will set on the age of man.
Well, honestly, even with all that's been said, he's easily a C rank.
Come on, this is bullshit. Why am I defending Wesker against you, Donny?
Because he was my favorite and I don't like change. The fact is that he only shows up in cutscenes and just constantly talks to Ada like a disappointed father. Plus, you said it yourself. We need to see more of him in order to rank him properly.
I agree. C's all right for now. I did, however, like that he just takes Krauser's body for the plaga inside of him. It was the exact same thing he did in Veronica when he just stole fucking Steve Burnside's corpse too.
Speaking of Krauser, isn't there a random Ganado that just straight up jacks his beret and wears it? Like, did this asshole just see it on the ground and was like, this is mine now?
I guess so. All right then, let's finish this up with Ada herself.
Let's just get the obvious things out of the way first. Her fucking voice is still off. For God's sake, she's literally fighting for her fucking life with horrors beyond imagining. Yet she still gives off the most boring tone I've ever heard.
Not fond of that, are we? Sadler, the leader of the cult. So that's the Amber. That looks like something Wesker would want. Here, catch.
I mean, she doesn't even give a reaction to seeing Leon for the first time in years.
Leon. Why am I not surprised?
Yet OG Ada was very surprised and delighted.
Leon.
Don't get me started on how she is with Leon.
Leon S. Kennedy. You haven't changed. You just think you have.
I hate that they took out all the sexual tension between them. I mean, shit, they had better chemistry in 6 than in this.
I was just resting my eyes.
Shouldn't sleep on the job.
That's excruciatingly true. In this, she's very open about how she's just using Leon to keep up the chaos so she can go about her mission.
So kind of you to keep our friends busy. But my little helper is creating quite the commotion. Good boy. Just keep him busy a little longer.
I mean, I get that she needs to do the job, and that they're just continuing her character from the second remake, but she's so cold about using the man that she's supposed to have feelings for.
He's a good boy. Predictable.
I would also like to add that her personality towards Luis is also just as icy, which is weird since she talks about how the events of Raccoon City changed her perspective to a more altruistic one.
I understood that. Made my peace with it. Until that one night in Raccoon City changed everything.
And even gets upset when Wesker threatens the world.
So, we're talking millions of casualties.
Billions.
We're changing course now.
But when Luis wants to save Leon and Ashley, she's very indignant towards him.
Leon and that young woman, they're both infected. They need this medicine.
Why does this matter to me?
I think we can agree that her personality still isn't very welcoming for a character that you want the player to root for. She doesn't show any compassion.
Leave the girl. She's lost no matter what.
Or sympathy unless it benefits herself.
If you're trying to kill yourself, can you do it after you've delivered the Amber?
She helps Leon kill Sadler.
It can be argued that she only really did that to get the Amber, which I would also like to point out that she literally walks into a room where they store all the Amber, and not once does she just walk up and chip off a piece. Like, what the fuck?
Maybe the Amber that Luis has is special.
Doubt it. However, I will concede that she reduced the island's destruction to help him and Ashley escape.
That's true.
But she was more than willing to leave Ashley behind and take Leon away with her in the chopper.
Bride's here. You coming?
I think we both know this. This is where we go our separate ways.
He
said it! He said it!
All valid points, but let's segue into her gameplay, because even with all that being said, I'm gonna be honest, it fucking slaps.
Also true.
Even I have to agree with that. Even with all of her character faults, her combat is fucking peak, not gonna lie. Fights with Ganados and bosses are fire in this, even with using the grapple.
I gotta say, the physics must be on a break when it comes to her, because she does some crazy shit with it that shouldn't be remotely possible.
You talking about how she swings around with El Gigante like she's Mikasa from Attack on Titan? I see you, random developer at Capcom.
There's also the thing with the iris segments. When I first saw that, I was like,
what kind of sci-fi bullshit is this?
I guess Ada is Batman now looking for footprints and shit, grappling into ledges, using sneak attacks.
She can also block chainsaws like Leon can too. Woman has some strength and reflexes. I would also like to add that I really liked her fight with Sadler. Seeing what he's got in the remake was honestly a treat to battle against.
Agreed. I especially love how he turns his hand into a literal fucking handheld machine gun.
I see what you did there.
So we can agree that her gameplay was lit. But how did you guys like that she went to all the places that were cut from Leon's side?
Ah, yes, the big question that matters. Well, to be honest, some of it worked and some of it didn't. The gondolas were still goofy as fuck, and it's just weird that they're even there. That also has to be said for the giant rock stompers and the huge drill room. Even Ada remarks on it.
Who comes up with these things?
However, the U3 fight was great and the fucking laser room was dope as fuck now.
No joke, having it there for a reason now made it much more enjoyable. Plus, it made more sense that Ada would be able to maneuver her ass through it than Leon would. I mean, the laser room is basically Leon's boulder punch.
Not to mention the beautiful scene from the 2002 film that gets referenced if you fuck up.
The only good part of that film, honestly.
The biggest letdown for me, however, was that she doesn't get to fight Krauser like in the OG. I mean, I get why they took it out for the story, but I'm sure they could have used it in there either way.
But I don't like it when men play rough.
Bottom line is, Barry, that even though her lines were delivered terribly, and she has the personality of a rock, I can see that her gameplay brings her up from C tier easily.
Absolutely solid A. At the end of the day, even though we had to pay for it, the DLC only cost $10, yet still gave us more time as Ada Wong than the 3 Make did as Jill, because you still had to play as Carlos a couple times. If I'm being honest, that fact alone should be an embarrassment to Capcom.
I'm with Donny. The amount of content in separate ways compounded by the fact of its price tag is so peaked to me that I am now considering the 3 Make to be nothing more than an outrageously overpriced DLC for RE2. But back to Ada herself. She has flaws, yes, but she brought a lot of fun to the table, and in the end she does reduce the island's destruction to help out Leon and Ashley. A tier.
I fully agree, and the cherry on top is that Capcom added their costumes from the OG, which I thought was a nice touch. Granted, you don't get to see Ada's fine legs, however.
A small price to pay, but a heavy one at that.
First time's free.
All right, done. That's it, commitment fulfilled. Any thoughts before we take off?
Did either of you guys catch that maybe the merchant likes Ada a bit more than he does Leon?
I reserve some items just for you. My other customer doesn't know about these.
Oh yeah, he warmed up to her super fast. Dude doesn't waste any time breaking the ice.
You've picked quite the place to set up shop, stranger.
Aye, and look what it brought me.
He's just practicing good customer service. An arms dealer must keep his client happy for repeat business, after all.
Yeah, you'd know all about that, wouldn't you?
So would the both of you, you geriatric fool. We've all sat in that chair.
No, I see where Joe is going with this one. Sometimes he got real excited around Ada.
I can hardly contain myself. You're really gonna do it, stranger.
Do you think they'll do another remake for the first one, or just go right into remaking 5?
I can see why they would go right into 5, but not establishing this new Wesker with the first games will make things weird in a story point of view.
And I'm all for giving 0 and 1 a remake on the RE engine.
God damn, Barry, you're so transparent.
I gotta go, guys. I got a speech at the Congressional Black Caucus, and I want to get some sleep so I can at least say their names correctly.
Oh, this should be fun to watch.
You sure you're gonna be okay this time, Joe?
Oh yeah, if I screw up, I'll just tell a joke. It'll be fine. I'll see you later.
Same here.
Yep.